Hey everybody, Scroft here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Bevington Farm series. It's been a while since I've played on this save game. I've been so busy doing other types of videos, working on the farm, doing the farm and doing showcases, mod reviews and stuff that it's just left a bit of a gap because I kind of got ahead of myself and released a few of these videos. So I think it's probably been about 10 days since I've actually played on this save game. So I need to give myself a bit of a refresher on where we were and what we're doing. Now, I do know that we're going to do some spraying. I want to try the tram lines out. I want to try get rid of some of the weeds, so we're going to do that in this episode. But, yeah, we're going to just have a look at the grass because I know I've already fertilised this, like my grass fields down here and the other one down the side. The only issue is I found that in some spots, like now, for example, it says here that it's 35 out of 65, but I'm going over it with, well, I know I've definitely gone over it with manure. I think I also went over it with solid fertilizer. So it's a really strange thing that's happening with the nitrogen levels. Even though like it still looks pretty good, and you can see that it's all very scattered up here because of when I first went over it with solid fertilizer, which was before they did the fix for precision farming. So I feel like these fields really do need kind of resetting. But I can't seem to find a good way of doing it. Maybe spraying might be the best way to do it. Because solid fertilizer isn't doing it. So I could spray these fields and go from there. But you can see that there is some spots that just aren't quite where they need to be. Like that, there's a bad section. And you've got a few lines. So the dark red, really. It's a strange one because this is ready to mow. This is like at the stage where I'd want to chop this. And because I'm in April, and I was in April in the last episode, because I remember we planted into field 39. So if we have a look, we got red beets in 39, and we finished off pretty much all the fields. So everything's growing. We're going to focus on these two fields of barley, or oats, sorry, today, getting the weeds gone. And then at some point when they've fully germinated, because I think we're not past, they haven't gone past germination in these fields because they're planted. Like if we just jump over to this soybean field. Don't want to sell it. Yeah, you can see. So everything's sorted. I've done... Does it need rolling? Yeah, this one needs rolling, and the next one over there needs rolling. But 39, which is where I've got my red beets, shouldn't actually need rolling. Surely, because of the fact that it's like a root crop. So yeah, this one doesn't need rolling, which is good. So we've got 2 to roll. We've got 2 to weed. So what we could do is get the roller out with a worker, and then we can focus on the spraying. I think that's probably a good plan. But let's go back to our grass fields because I want to chop these probably in the next episode. So I just think it's strange. Like you can see I'm up 65. It's like it's got there, but in places like I'm well over under. And I'm going to get a mixed bag, aren't I, for the yield on this. Yeah. I know one thing, though. I have got all the tractors in. Made sure that they're all clean, fueled up, and everything like that. I'm not using the mod that I showcased the other day, which is to do with like realistic breakdowns and all that good stuff. I'm waiting for a few updates. I don't want to put it in because I've got a heavily modded save game, and I feel like if I put that in, there's a potential where I'm going to get a few problems. That I'm keeping a close eye on that mod, and I'm keep getting the updates from GitHub. So eventually, I will be playing with that on both of my series because this is the second video I've recorded today. The first one was episode 1 on Saxoning, which is stunning. So I want to keep this series going with that one. And I thought I was so tempted to put that mod in, the realistic, I think it's called realistic engine breakdowns or realistic maintenance or something like that. I can't bloody remember the name now. I'm going to put it up whilst I'm editing at the bottom. But I showcased it, and it's stunning. I was so tempted to put it into my Saxonym save game, but then I thought, I don't want to do anything that's going to be potentially game-breaking with it still being in that work-in-progress beta stage. I think I'm just going to keep a close eye on it until I know everything's working proper. Because I love the idea of that. I love the idea of maintenance. I love the idea that if for example, like if the tractor's dirty, you've got more chance of having an issue with like cooling. So you could then have a cooling breakdown, and there's 5 stages to it. And eventually it goes to the critical level, and then the worst stage 5, which the tractor just won't run at that point. So I love the fact that there's all that going on. But then each brand has its own maintainability score, which kind of reflects its price. I'd imagine it's probably more on its price. So if you've got like tractor that's 300 horsepower, for example, that's 300,000 against a tractor that's 300 horsepower but 200,000, you know the 200,000 one's probably more likely to break down more often. And I love that kind of idea because it means you're paying for the quality then. There is a reason to go to that 300,000 pound mark because you're going to get more like reliability and more quality in what you're buying. So the mod to me is a game changer eventually, but I'm just going to hold off for now until I know that it's a good enough stage, enough tested, enough feedback to put it into my save game. And I'm not even using the realistic weather on Saxon because I've had the same issues with it especially on this map. I'm constantly chopping and changing. But now that I'm invested in it on this, I'm going to keep it in. So let's just have a quick overview of the animals before we get the ball rolling. I don't want this to be a crazy long one. In fact, Beanie might have a go at me. I'm supposed to be going food shopping soon. I'm like, no, I'm going to record a second video. I mean, priorities, eh? FS over food shopping. All day long. Right, so, yeah, sheep are all good. I remember separating them out. We've got our fat lambs that I've put down at the bottom. So these sheep are just kind of doing the thing at the moment. I've got wool as well that I need to sell next month, so keep that in mind. I need to keep that in mind that in May I'm selling that. Our beef cattle, I think some of them should be you can see that this one's backing calf. Or in fact, all of them are backing calf, aren't they, in this top section? So that's good to see. And then, are they also lactating, or have they already stopped lactating? That would be interesting to know, because usually it says lactating where it'd be expecting. So like these, for example, I've got two there that are recovering from lactating. But I think... So this is my milk. Yeah, that's my milk production. So the cowshed's gone massively up compared to... Yeah, cowshed's gone... The dairy cowshed really has gone up massively because obviously I've got more going on. They're still consuming quite a lot, but I'm still getting quite a bit there. So I'd say that these ones are still lactating. I don't know what when they stop lactating. It's got to be when they're close maybe to having the other calf like the second time round. We'll have to keep an eye on that. It'll probably be somewhere in the notes for the realistic livestock mod, how long that does last. Probably something like, I don't know, if it's a 9-month gestation period, then it can't be that long, obviously, because you need to give them a bit of a break just before. But anyway, let's carry on going through. We'll figure that out. Trial and error and all that. I mean, I'd probably, if it's no information anywhere, I'd probably want to test it by putting a single cow in its own shed and then just seeing when the milk production stops, how far it goes, get it back in calf as soon as possible and seeing how long it stops, even when you've put it back in calf, because I've kept the bull in there. So as soon as these were ready, let's like look at this one, for example. Like this one's pretty much just got in calf. It's got 2. So it's been scanned, it's having 2 calves. So that technically would be still lactating. But how long ago was its last calf, and how long is it going to be lactating before it hits a certain reproduction where it's going to have its second calves and lactate again? And I know the beef stock and people don't milk beef stock, but technically they do generate milk because of the fact that they're going to be having cows and calves, suckling, aren't they? So I don't know. I need to really try and figure that out. I'd like to know exactly how long and the gaps and all that good stuff. But we got loads of calves. These are obviously going to be fattening up. We've got loads of them. We've done really well for our beef stock. That is good to see. And again, our dairy stock, you know, some of these are males, obviously, that are going to get fattened up and sold. But we've got a good chunk there that are going to get saved. 6 that can go in. More males, unfortunately, but that's just the way it worked out. And then we've got a decent amount of milk because we actually bought 5, didn't we? I remember we bought 5. Remember this being one of them. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be 6 then because they were the ones that are not named. So 7. I probably did get 7 actually. And then I've got my spare beef stock that were already basically lactating. They were already in calf. They've not had one, so they're like kind of further along. But I've switched it. Instead of putting them all together because that cow shed's small, I've separated a bit more. So we've got the Angus that are sitting in here. And then in our main beef shed, we've still got a few Angus. Let's have a look through. We've got, none of them are like that high. I think 16% was the highest. Whereas in here, we got 27%, 60. So they are a lot higher. So we'll keep them separated just so it's a bit more space. Looks better. And then we've got our fat lambs, which is what I put in. So these are the lambs we've had that are male that we don't want to keep in with our normal kind of flock of sheep. Which is, in fact, we've had some more. Yeah, you can see these are the ones I was on about. We've had these in, but they're rams. So if I had some more, no, that's that one. Yeah, I've had 2 more rams. So they need to. I'm very confused right now, which is not unusual. Yeah, so these are the 2 new ones. These really should be going out because they are my rams. So them 2 rams there need to go into my fat lamb shed because these are all male. So anything that's male needs to come through. So let's just go through these. Let's just quickly just go through. So we got 80%. So that one's going to be due soon. That one's not. That's a female. 75%. So again, more due. Going to have 2 lambs. 2 lambs there as well. So we're going to have a lot more popping out soon. And then I've got a female, so that's staying in. But these 2 rams need to go out into our fat lambing section. So I'll do that. Make sure to do that. I'll probably do it in between episodes because I'm faffing here, chatting away. And then I've got my main ram, the one that's breeding, Roswell. But the problem is Roswell can't breed with this, and also that one. In fact, it can't breed with both of these, really. Because these surely are the offspring of Roswell. So, yeah, I'm going to need to get another ram. I'm going to have to buy it as well because I want it to be a separate ram from everything involved here. So it can't be an offspring and it can't be something that's already, basically basically imagine this lamb here. It can't breed with a ram. That's his sibling, basically, because it's come from the same ram. If that makes sense. So I'm going to need to buy a ram at some point. But there we go. I feel like somewhat understanding what's going on there. I think if I really want to get the answers, what I need to do is visit this. I then need to go to this tab here, open it up, and get the information. So these are all the children you can see that he's had. Now, I don't know if this is just all the children in this shed, in this kind of like pasture. It won't be the fat lambs with it. So you can see that the 2 Welsh mountain ones, the Black Welsh Mountains, we've got, where's the numbers? So we got, let's have a quick look here. Unique number is 6049. So that one, and then 046 and 049. So that's definitely offspring. And then we've got 3 more. So they're all his offspring. So yeah, Roswell is basically done 5-1, 50. So we're looking for 5-1 and 50 here. So there's 5-1. So that one's definitely got to move over because that's his offspring. And then 50. So even though they've got some really good genetics on this, goes to show like having the right... it goes to show having the right kind of breeding stock to start with. I'm just trying to think, let's look at this one. Let's go, who's the mother? So it came from one of these Swiss black-brown mountains, but the father was the Welsh mountain, and it's taken the father's kind of coat and colour. So that is interesting. But no, I need to move them too. That's the aim. I've got to move these 2 because the rams into my fat lambs. Keep an eye on these as I go because we don't want to do it. But we also need to buy a second ram so our offspring can breed. And then we just need to keep doing that, really, because the main ram can just keep breeding still with the original kind of flock. And then as we kind of expand out, I'd say once a year we need to buy a ram. So eventually what's going to happen is we're going to have about probably 5-10 rams that are in there with them. So it knows to sort out what can breed with what and so on. Lots of organisation that needs doing there. Anyway, let's get this sorted. I'll go with the fence for the spraying, and for this, the rolling, we're going to get the T7. I'm going to get it doing its thing, and we'll use a bit of a worker. And I think I'm doing well for money. I can't even remember, honestly. I've done so much stuff away from the game that I'm almost confused. Like when I jump back in, it's been too much of a gap. But they're my fat lambs down there. They're all going to get sold it, I think about 12. I think about it's definitely going to be between 6 and 12 months. It just depends, like, what happens with the price. We're just going to keep an eye on it, and then we can kind of calculate. But I know I did really well after the harvest. I know that, yeah, going back to, like, the money and the finances, I know I did really well after the harvest. I know I paid off a lot of them loans that were lingering and a lot of the things we were owing, which was much needed. Definitely was much needed. So AI worker will do 2, and we'll send him off his way. We'll jump back to the Fent. I have to always lift the weight up. It's a very strange one, but every time I jump back into the game, every time it's not happy. So I've got tram lines. So will I need narrow tyres, really, if I've got tram lines? I'm going to say no. That was a very unsure no. I mean, if I've got tram lines, I could technically just turn crop destruction off and just follow the tram lines. But at that point, I may as well start putting narrows on. But do you know what puts me off putting narrows on? I really love the mod where it's like, makes the tyres look like they've been used. But the only issue with that is if you go and modify the tractor at all, even if you just change the beacons, like the layout of the beacons, it resets the tyre back to 0%. So I've never actually got them fully worn out because I'm too busy changing things like that, and it just always has that negative effect on me. So, yeah, strange. Right, can I tip this into there? Yes, I can. So we're going to dump this back into the silo, and then we're going to fill it up with herbicide. Ready to go out to the fields. And I will turn crop destruction off. We've only got 1,000 litres of herbicide, so I don't think that's going to stretch the way. We pretty much need to buy some. So where's the trigger? It's here. We want probably 5,000 litres. So now we've got plenty. That'll definitely last us out. I'm hoping it'll also do the other fields after that are pretty much guaranteed to get it. But if they don't, it doesn't matter too much. It needs to be done. It's a job that has to happen. While that's filling up, though, talk about the yield tracker. I have talked about this in my video that I did today on Saxonham, which actually come out the day before this video. So if you've watched that, you'll know. But I really like the idea of this. It will show you your field. So these are all the ones I own, and we can track our yields. So like the grass, for example, is a perfect one to start off with, our grass fields, because I don't think the yield's quite going to be where it could be for many reasons. It just looks awful with the nitrogen, though. That's mainly the reason. We can keep track of it. If we can get it sorted out, then we can like go to grass and see year 2, because we already know there are always going to be grass fields, so we can keep seeing every time we do a chop. You can see first cut, second cut, third cut in year 1, and so on, going into year 2, 3. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to definitely keep an eye on this for the grass fields. But what I do want to do is I want to go down to here, because this is where most of my money's going. You can see 2,500 every month on on this vario, which we do need to sort out and clear off. We've also got the tedder, which makes it, let's say, £3,000 a month. And then we've got this hefty loan, which is another 2,500. So first thing has to be the loan. Get rid of that. Then we'll start worrying about these finance things. But we're better than what we were. I was spending a lot each month, but you can see with me just spending 6,000 there on herbicide, well, it's only going to get worse. But anyway, let's go and focus on getting this sprayed. These crop fields this time round should cover me for what I want to do. I'll definitely make enough to pay off that loan. Definitely. The straw itself that I'll get off the oat fields will give me some really good cash. The red beets will return. There's a lot of work involved in it, but it will return. And the soybeans, well, traditionally soybeans have been really good, so it's going to be good to try that out. I haven't got straw that's going to drop from that. I have got the mod that would allow me, so we could do straw off it. We'll see. We'll see. Well, yeah. Anyway, let's get this done. Let's just first check, though. Crop destruction is off, so we'll keep that off. And let's get into this section. We'll drive across here for now. But I want to follow the... basically, I don't want to use any GPS. I want to follow... I want to... Ooh, moment. It's in the bush. Let's lift it up. Yeah, I want to follow the tram lines, and I want that to be my guide. So at the end of this, when we've killed it all off, I want to go into the map and see that I've actually done this spot on. This is why it probably would be wise to use the narrows next time around and keep crop destruction on. That would be the ideal situation, but again, it always resets the tyres, and that's what puts me off doing it. So I'd rather just turn the crop destruction off just than having that visual aid of seeing narrow tyres on it, because there's nothing else to it. At the end of the day, if I have narrow tyres, which I've already purchased for one of my tractors, so it's not like I'm having any benefit here. It's just a visual thing at that point, because I'm not going to do any crop destruction with narrow tyres on. But it's the fact that it resets puts me off doing it. But yeah. I'm hoping at the end I'll open the map up, see, and it'll say, yep, you've got pretty much the majority of this whole map by just alone following these tram lines. But let's see. I think the next natural step would be to kind of move to a spot spraying technology, because we'd probably save a bit in using herbicide and fertilizer. So we're going to miss some there, aren't we? Because that was a big chunk of the corner I missed. But we're going to carry on following it.
If you're lost and you're feeling low, all stressed out with no place to go, you need something to ease your troubled mind. Social media and sleepless nights, final call for the deadline flight. All you want is to leave it all behind. Now there is a simple remedy to stay fit for all eternity. Spoonful, spoonful, just a spoonful a day. Spoonful, spoonful, the doctor says it's okay. Spoonful, spoonful, just a spoonful a day. Spoonful, spoonful, the doctor says it's okay. And you don't have to watch your weight. Load up your portion control plate. Just a spoonful burns the fat away. It's fantastic and it's for free, and as long as you agree to be the product, you'll never have to pay. 'Cause there is a simple remedy to stay fit for all eternity. Spoonful, spoonful, just a spoonful a day. Spoonful, spoonful, the doctor says it's okay. Spoonful, spoonful, just a spoonful a day. Spoonful, spoonful, the doctor says it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Spoonful, spoonful, just a spoonful a day. Spoonful, spoonful, the doctor says it's okay. Just a simple spoonful, just a spoonful.
Right, so I've not looked once at the PDA, like the map, to see where the weeds are. I've got a feeling bottom corner, directly where I'm looking at now, definitely missed a bit. And there was a few spots on the corners, but I think I'd be surprised if there's bits in the middle of the field. So let's find out. And this is just by me following the tram lines. No guidance steering or anything like that. So where is the weeds? It's this one. Hey, do you know what? That's not bad at all. You can see that I did miss a tiny bit, but that's not as much as I thought. And I have missed a bit there, so I don't know how I've done that, but I have. And in this field, it's just little bits at the corner. I'm very happy with that. That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Is this... Does it need rolling? Oh, no. It's just the tram lines, of course. They won't need... I don't know why it says needs rolling on them sections. It doesn't really need it to show that, but it is what it is. But no, these fields are looking good. We've mulched them. We've got it all set out. Everything's been rolled. We've got rid of the weeds now. I mean, what is the potential of this when we've fully fertilised it? Let's have a look here. So, yeah, 100% on this spot. We're already at 94, and it needs a bit of fertiliser. This, the T7's still out rolling at the moment, which is pretty good. Does need a bit of maintenance work on that roll, though. But it's done the other fields, so... Yeah, field 41 with the soybeans in is all sorted. And that, because it doesn't need any moisture, you can see it's happy. You're already at 100%. So that field now, depending on if we get weeds, which might happen. Yeah, the only thing we really need to do with this and the field to the right after he's finished rolling is weeds. But that might not happen. Right now, it doesn't say that it's growing. Usually it's like pops up with like weeds growing. So... it might not, but we'll find out. We'll definitely find out. Anyway, let's drive the fence back with the sprayer. I'm going to keep this herbicide in. Hopefully I won't need to spend too much. I'm glad that amount then, this full tank, went the full way and it left us with 15%. But technically, we've got 3 fields left that potentially might need spraying with a bit of herbicide or weed killer. I'll have to see, but I don't want to be spending too much money because every month I am pretty much leaking finances with these, with these deals I've got for, mainly for this tractor that I'm driving. The Tedder one isn't too bad at all, but the loan, that is pretty hefty, so need to try and get rid of that, but we'll get there. When this harvest is in full swing, when we've got the 2 oat fields, we've got the 2 soybean fields, we've got the red beets, when that's all done and sold come around winter time, we should be good. Next task in the next episode is this grass field. We're going to start mowing it up, and then after that I'm going to try and get it at a better state. I'm going to spray it with fertiliser. I'm not going to worry about slurry, even though it's a really good thing to use. I'm going to spray it with liquid fertiliser and see if I can get it sorted out. I'll be doing spraying anyway because I've got fertiliser, I've got herbicide to spray in these fields, and if we go to our precision farming nitrogen, I'm going to need to put, I'm going to need to spray 37, 38 and 39, 41 and 42 luckily don't. So really the cost that I would have used in fertiliser for them fields, I'm going to now put on my grass fields. That's the way I'm seeing it. So it's not like I'm losing out loads, but I want to try and get it sorted. I'm fed up with this kind of weird multicoloured crazy rainbow effect in them. I need to get that looking better, and we'll go from there. We'll definitely go from there. I just want to actually quickly look before I end the video when the best time to sell, not that one, let's go to this, because I know it's not always the same. So we know oats is always going to be around December, so winter time. Red beets, that's good then, so it's also December. And the last one, soybeans. See, that's the one that's going to mess us up, because look at the difference in price there, 882 to 2,251. So we're going to have to hold on to the soybeans through the winter, coming into we'll be looking at the 3rd harvest by then. We're getting close to it, in fact, by the time we sell the soybeans. So it's the one negative to soybeans. By the time we harvest this, we've got to wait a full year, whereas with most of them, you're waiting 6 months. But by the time when is the harvest window for soybeans? Harvest window is October. So, yeah, we've got to wait quite a bit, haven't we, to get back to June. Oh, well, it is what it is. It's still going to make us good money, and it's going to be worth the wait. But hopefully, with the straw, the 2 fields of oats, and the red beets, all that selling in winter will clear off a debt at least, and the money we get from the soybeans, well, we can hopefully settle the cost of our Fent Vario, because that's a 172 settlement cost, and we can't pay bits. It's not like I can go, can I just put a lump sum down on it? I need the full whack to pay it and settle it. So, like, yeah, it's like 172,000. This one we can settle, but not going to do that now because of the amount of money that comes out each month. But hopefully, by the time we sold everything from this time round's harvest, so we're talking the last thing would be soybeans. You never know. Potential's there for us to clear off the loan and both of these higher purchasing so we can bring them fees down each month, because that's the thing that's crippling me in this series. But also, we're not thinking about the fat lambs. We're not thinking about the beef stock. We're generating a bit of money every month from milk. It really isn't much, but it's helping us each month with what we're losing. So it's not too bad. But beef stock's going to bring in a lot of money if we can get them up. I mean, look at the price of this one. 6,700 for this. He is awesome. That is an insane amount of money. 6,700. Is that normal? Have I done something different now? I'm just trying to think why these have got so high in price. Like, that's what it was before. I know I altered. The only thing I did alter was the amount of manure and slurry they produce and the amount of straw they take. I didn't alter anything else, so it shouldn't affect the price of what the realistic livestock mod is set up. But that is insane. Imagine if we take all these here, and you can see that they're not bad price currently. These are all the ones we're fattening up to sell, female or male. Like, they're all going, and we're already at 2,000 on some of them. So imagine if we get them up to, like, I don't know, we'd have to look at 12 months, see where they're at. The minimum's 12 months. But I ideally want to sell my beef stock at around, I'm going to say about 15 months. If I aim for 15 months old, which is exactly a year from now, I think we'll get a really good price, because these cows, they're 2 years old. We've got some, yeah, they're over 2 years, aren't they? But yeah, 15 months. If we just have a look at 12, after 12 months, we'll have a look, see what they're looking like. If that's, doing well, then bonus. We've got some that are 5 months, but I think 15 months is going to be around the sweet spot for selling these. And the Holstein that are bulls, we could sell at 12 months. Same for the brown Swiss, 12 months, get them gone. But then our fat lambs, I'm thinking we'll look at them at about probably like 12 months, like a year old, 10 months, something like that. We'll have a look at 10 just to see where they're at, because they're not like, they're quite in the age for what you think. Like, really, 6 months old, you'd take a lamb. Like, you could easily take a lamb. I mean, the lambs that we were weighing, if they were over 42 kg, they were ready for market. So that's a little bit, definitely not right, put it that way, because after 5 months, you're probably looking at about, I mean, put it this way, if they were that fat, they would have gone by now. I mean, look at this one. So that's a little bit not realistic. That's not really realistic, but it doesn't matter. I'm not complaining. I mean, a lamb that's 121 kilos is a fat lamb. Very fat. This one's 157. I mean, it's fetching good money, so I can't complain, but I'm going to wait for, like, again, a year old. I think we'll just keep looking every month and just see what's going on. But so I think for the fattening beef stock, have a look at 12. 15's a target. I think that's probably about right. Bulls, when it comes to the milking stock, so Holstein bulls and brown Swiss bulls, 12 months is the sweet spot. And then if we look at our fat lambs, again, 10 to 12 months, something like that, just to try and maximise the amount of money we're getting. And that's probably the best way to go. But yeah, plenty to do, as always, on this series. It's nice to finally feel like I'm caught up mentally with it and know what I need to do and where I'm at. But yeah, next episode we'll get this mode out, and we'll see what we can do getting it sorted. But we're going to make some silage bales First cut's always the best cut for silage. And yeah, we'll go from there. But on that note, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, give it a thumbs up. That really does help me out and the channel. And if you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this one on Farming Simulator. See you, everybody.